Good morning, family. Welcome to Chunchimwan Morning Devotion. Today is Monday, November 6th. Let's begin by greeting our Heavenly Parent and true parents. Chunjian, Chambumanamge, Kyungbae. Paro. Now for our family pledge, let's welcome Pastor Milhan Stevens.
가정맹세 1. 천혜의국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 번향 땅을 찾아 번연의 창조의 상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천혜의국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 중심, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세합니다. 3. 천혜의국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과皇족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천혜의국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주대 가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천혜의국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천혜의국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천혜의국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세합니다. 8. 천혜의국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 천혜의국 시대를 맞이하여 절대신앙, 절대사랑, 절대복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상천국과 천상천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세합니다.
Thank you, Pastor Milhan. Now for opening prayer, I'd like to invite Reverend Joshua. Reverend Josh, could you pray for us today?
Sure, please remember. Beloved Heavenly Parents, spirits of divine parents of heaven, earth, humankind, good morning. So grateful we can be gathered here this day. We're going to attend you and pray for those who are still coming on this call and then join and can all prepare our hearts to receive you this day, receive the word for today, and be able to carry it on further throughout the day and this week, and that we can extend the love that we receive from you to those around us as well. I thank you, and I pray that we can truly connect with you as well today. So I close this prayer in the name of Joshua Toski, the good gospel pastor family, and everyone Catholic Spirit option.
Got you. Thank you, Reverend Josh. All right, family, now it's time for our Godable reading. We're reading from the Mother of Peace, our True Mother's memoir, and we're up to episode 4. Pastor Milhan.
Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Reverend Josh, for your prayer. Begin this new day. Let's begin reading from the Mother of Peace.
Welcome to Mother of Peace, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. A memoir by Hak Jahan Moon, a production of the Washington Times Global Media Group, narrated by Alison Hiroto. Wildflowers smile on a mountain path. It's been raining a lot, and the path will be slippery. My assistant informed me. Why don't you just rest today? Of course, she was concerned for my safety, and I thanked her, but continued my preparations. In autumn, we have heavy rainstorms, and snow falls in the winter. There are countless reasons and excuses to stay inside. Regardless, after his passing, I departed my room each day at dawn for prayer at my husband's tomb, and upon returning, I prepared his breakfast and dinner. As I walked along the path up the hill to the Ponhonhuang and back, he and I shared many heart-to-heart conversations. My husband's thoughts became my thoughts, and my thoughts became his. Korean bonsai pines lined the path to the Ponhonhuan, and underneath them, clusters of wildflowers bloomed in the spring. During the winter, wildflowers disappear, but in spring they bloom profusely, as if competing with each other. I would stop on my way up the steep incline to take a closer look at the grasses and flowers. They displayed their colors beautifully in the spring's bright morning sun, whether I was there to admire them or not. I would become intoxicated with their beauty, caressing the wildflowers before resuming my ascent up the path. The walk was difficult, but my heart would be as serene as the flowers. When I would reach my husband's tomb, I would carefully check to see whether any weeds had sprouted among the blades of grass, or whether animals had left any traces. The lawn on the grave became greener and greener as time went by. Sitting alone in front of his tomb, I would pray for everyone in the world to be as beautiful as wildflowers, to have minds as strong as pine trees, and to always live prosperous lives, as green as a summer lawn. On my way down, I would say farewell to the flowers and pine trees. My friends of the natural world, I will meet you again tomorrow. The path I would walk was the same each day, but the weather was never the same. There would be days when I felt the warm rays of the sun. There were windy days, rainy days when thunder roared and lightning struck, and snowy days covering everything in white. During this 3-year period of devotions, I also retraced my husband's travels throughout the United States, traveling nearly 4,000 miles as my husband had done in 1965, and visited the 12 mountain peaks we had toured in the Swiss Alps to pray and meditate. Through these devotions, our spiritual oneness deepened into eternity. In traditional Korea, offering such filial devotions in remembrance of one's deceased parents was expected. Representing the family, the first son would build a small hut just to the west of his father's or mother's tomb and live in it for 3 years, regardless of the weather, even if unable to eat properly or make a living through this period. Those 3 years represent the 3 years after we are born, when we receive our father's, and especially our mother's, full love and care, without which we would not have survived. This time of devotion is a time to acknowledge, show gratitude, and return that love and kindness. Today, there are too many people who forget their father's and mother's kindness. From those who lack filial piety toward their own parents, comprehension of Heavenly Parent and the true parents, who have shed tears over humanity's suffering, cannot be expected. People today live without any connection to the true parents, not knowing that they are here on earth. To awaken people who have eyes but cannot see, as my husband's wife, I offered devotions in remembrance of True Father every day for 3 years, on behalf of all people. With this depth of commitment, I promised my husband and all the members of our worldwide movement, I will bring us back to the spirit of the early days of our church, and I will create a revival through spirit and truth. I dream of a church that feels like a mother's warm embrace, a church that is like a home, where people always want to come and stay. This is my husband's dream as well. honoring him, I made the decision to dedicate myself to God and all of humankind even more than before. Since that hour, I have never fully rested. Then, in 2015, moved by my husband's unchanging heart, I prepared his gift for humanity. May the Sunhook Peace Prize stand forever as an expression of his eternal commitment to peace. The Sunhook Peace Culture. Looking into the hazy summer sky, I queried what the weather was going to be like the next day. There'll be showers in the morning, I was told, with lots of clouds. With a smile on my face, I accepted that that was how it was going to be. Rain has poured down during many of our Unification Church events. It was more than 40 years ago that heavy showers and strong winds swept through our Yankee Stadium rally in New York. Heavy rains also fell all day long during the international blessing of 360,000 couples, as well as during the inauguration of the Women's Federation for World Peace at the Seoul Olympic Stadium. I have grown to accept rain at such times with gratitude, as a gift. So it rained on August 28, 2015, the day of the first Sunhook Peace Prize Awards ceremony. That day, hundreds of guests converged on our hotel in Seoul, moving quickly through the downpour, summer's last cleansing gift. Thankfully, when the doors opened, the skies cleared, and this felt like God's joyful welcome to our guests. These were special people, leaders from all fields, gathered from throughout the global village, many traversing long distances for the sake of peace. Everyone desires peace, but peace does not come easily. If it were as commonplace as stones on the side of a country road or trees on a mountainside, we would never have experienced the terrible wars and conflicts that plague the human world. But bringing peace demands that everyone invest sweat, tears, and sometimes blood. That is why, even though we long for peace, we seldom achieve it. To experience true peace, we must first practice true love without expectation of reward. My husband and I walked this path, and continuing on it, I prepared the Sunhook Peace Prize as a gift for the world from Father Moon. Despite the rain on this first day of the awards ceremony, none of the guests could suppress their excitement. They were like little children about to receive a special gift. Everyone was wide-eyed as they greeted the person beside them, one saying, "There are so many kinds of people here. I've never been to a more diverse gathering." And the other, "It's unbelievable. I wonder where that attire is from." The event was an exhibition of the world's ethnicities. The hall was alive with the rushing flow of various languages. Everyone's eyes showed gratitude on behalf of the entire human family. People seeing me for the first time focused on the stage to get a good look, wondering, who is this Dr. Hak Jahan Moon? Then they would tilt their heads quizzically. Perhaps they considered my clothes to be no finer than theirs, and that I looked like a typical mother. As I prepared the Sunhook Peace Prize project, my utmost concern was that people would understand its fundamental root. To embrace the future, we must expand the scope of vocations that can herald the coming of peace. Even though we may never meet our descendants, we must make sure that all their activities will harmonize in peaceful societies and nations. After serious consideration and discussion, the Sunhook Foundation determined its overarching orientation, the peace that transcends the present and builds the future. True peace certainly requires that we resolve the current conflicts between religions, races, and nations. The even greater challenges that we face, however, include the destruction of the environment and demographic trends. The world's leading peace awards focus on solving the problems of the present generation. Yet we must solve the problems of the present in a way that is integrated with a practical vision for a happy future. I founded the Sunhook Peace Prize as a bridge bringing us out of this world's maelstroms of conflict and as a compass pointing to a future homeland of peace.
Thank you, God, your parents, for these words today. My goodness, reading this for the third time, I can see how much Mother is an example of foundation of faith and substance, giving us a practical example of how to do that exactly. So she attends True Father, she attends God for the 3 years of mourning, and this is a demonstration of faith and attendance and aligning with God's will. Even herself, and they say that really it's the children that should be mourning these 3 years, but Mother had to do it to show the example. And then what? Foundation of substance is when Abel helps Cain make his offering. And that's what the Sunhook Peace Prize does. She finds these great, of course, it's the Cain world, it's the secular world, but she finds a way for them to make their offering. And yes, they're receiving a giant prize. So it's almost like we're giving them something. But really, it's Cain's lifelong work that they are able to offer to God, and that we're able to acknowledge in this kind of way. Because the Nobel Peace Prize doesn't do it. It doesn't capture really God's will. Same with the United Nations. It needs, so we're having to make our own with all these associations. So it's these two things. It's the foundation of faith and substance so that all the world can make their offering to God and become citizens of Chanuguk. My husband's thoughts became my thoughts, and my thoughts became his. I have to say, Mother is not quite the same as she was before. She took on a lot of father's traits. She was a lot more bold and this, before it would be okay for her to just be a nice, receptive and kind. And although she wasn't always kind, I know that she also was quite stickler and she was particular on details. But she did inherit father's spirit. And so when she proclaims things, it really is a united front. And so it's a great time. It's a great time. All the leadership merged into one. The walk was difficult, but my heart would be as serene as the flowers. Again, an example of the nuance of life and leadership. That it's not just, facing challenges, but maintaining that serenity, maintaining that sensitivity, like flowers do. And they're very sensitive, but they're also beautiful. And so this is, I love this book because it illustrates the nuance of real leadership and how challenging it can be to walk that fine line. World to be, she'd pray for everyone. Okay, so this is milestone 1 we're talking about here. Thank you, Mother. Should pray for everyone in the world to be as beautiful as, imagine if Mother had the names of everybody in the world. That would be nice. I'd feel comforted knowing that. World to be as beautiful as wildflowers, to have minds as strong as pine trees, and to always live prosperous lives as green as summer lawn. So I see this as 3 milestones, kind of. I'm praying for everybody. Everyone has strong minds, strong vision, strong purpose, strong mission. It's pine trees, and to live with prosperity. And I just think of the blessing is the multiplication of goodness, the multiplication of green, right? The money coming, but the prosperity of the summer lawn with just grass blades all over the place. So this is Mother is completely, we're united with the 3 milestones. From those who lack filial piety toward their own parents, who have shed tears over humanity's suffering, cannot be expected Yeah, I mean, this is a challenge, and this is why the Chuncheon is so important, because it's so easy for us to just get stuck in our mundane lives, and we get familiar with, yeah, there's my laptop, there's my breakfast, and there's my whatever. But to create a physical environment where there's holy candles lit, and there's your parents' pictures there, and our saints on the table, and this little Hyojung house, which, like, it seems kind of ridiculous to think that your ancestors are in there right now, but it is a demonstration of our acknowledgement that our ancestors are present. And light up this room brightly. It creates an environment where we can experience filial piety, that heart of God, how are you now? How are you feeling in this moment? Because God doesn't feel the same all the time. He ebbs and flows, and depending on what's going on in the world. So we want to be sensitive to that. So filial piety really starts with inheriting the heart of our parents, and we can achieve that through the Chuncheon. That's why Keisetsu's even. That's 6 a.m. I will bring us back to the spirit of the early days of our church, and I will create a revival through spirit and truth. I dream of a church that feels like a mother's warm embrace, a church that feels like a home where people always want to come and stay. When I think of this, I think about Bill High. And whenever he testifies about us, he says, we're not really a church. We're a family. When he comes in, he just feels like he's coming home and wishes he could come home more often. So I'm thinking of restarting TGIF again, at least temporarily. But that's what this is. My goal is not to bombard us with spiritual rituals and stuff like that. We have life in the physical world. It's great. Our children, our spiritual children. This is that's all I ever wanted to. So thank you, Mother, for clarifying the vision of a local church. I prepared his gift for humanity. Sunhawk Peace Prize, stand forever as an expression of his eternal commitment to peace. Really beautiful. This whole idea of a Sunhawk peace culture. To me, the Sunhawk peace culture is acknowledging Cain, helping Cain make his offering. We have a lot of talented people out in the world who can do amazing things for God if we would humble ourselves and acknowledge it. Say, wow, that's a great thing you're doing. Even these sports players, and they have it may not be the perfect message, right? It may not be the perfectly principled message, but we can help them make it principled, you see. So we have to get into a frame of mind. Like when I see the mayor, Mayor Adams, and Pastor Gill and Pastor Ramos, like, they're quite incredible people. So I feel like my hope is to help them make their offering, you see. I'm not trying to be as busy as they are, frankly, or trying to be as accomplished as they are. That's not, as an ableist, that's not my purpose. My purpose is to help Cain make his or her offering. So that's the Sunhawk Peace Prize. I've grown to accept rain at such times with gratitude as a gift. Yes, we cross paths with rain a lot in this book. The showers of blessing. Everyone desires peace, but peace does not come easily. Bringing peace demands that everyone invest sweat, tears, and sometimes blood. To experience true peace, we must first practice true love without expectation of reward. Again, it's like, I want to make world peace. But by saying that, you have to understand it's a very complex, lifelong mission to be committed to the details and all the different personalities of the world and how we all can live together in harmony. It's a lifelong endeavor. In fact, you can even study peace studies and, you know, diplomacy and all these things, you know, conflict resolution. So this is whenever I meet people, I always try to see, how does this person fit into my worldview? It's like, sometimes I met one person who is so competitive. He loves to compete, and he gets so upset when he loses. And in fact, he married someone who's also competitive in sports, and they do sports together. This other sister, she hates competition. All she wants to do is hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Okay. I'm thinking, how did these two people coexist in the same world? And I realized, oh, okay, I think we need different countries with different types of governance. One's more socialistic, one's more capitalistic. So we need different countries that have different kinds of course, we're all one channel good, but we have different laws applied different places so people can be more, feel more themselves. So in any case, that's world peace. There are so many kinds of people here. I've never been to a more diverse gathering. Yeah, this is how I feel about New York. And I'm so proud. Even yesterday, we get as diverse as it gets. And we had Samsung. He visited us for the first time. Well, at least since, not your first time in New York, I know, but visiting our congregation. And I was so proud to show him, this is Manhattan Family Church. You can always come here and feel hope for humanity because we have it all. And frankly, when you're diverse, it is also an indication of how God must be with us, because only God can bring together these different cultures. Otherwise, we don't mesh together. We must have a higher love. Perhaps they consider my clothes to be no finer than theirs, and that I look like a typical mother, typical ajuma, typical mom. And that's what we want. We want a mom that can sing to us to sleep and, tuck us in. That's who true parents are. We have this idea of a Messiah as this flamboyant, charismatic sort of leaders, but fighting us against Satan and blah blah blah. But the Messiah is just parents. It's your mom and dad. And when Jesus stepped onto the scene, people were confused. They were imagining the Messiah being this courageous general to fight against their oppressors, and galvanize the armies. But when they found out, oh, he's just a dad, he's just a guy who loves people, and the Prince of Peace, it was a little confusing for people. So let's keep that in mind. Our true mother is a mother, and you wouldn't want anything else. Even greater challenges that we face, however, include the destruction of the environment and demographic trends. Solve the problems of the present in a way that is integrated with a practical vision for a happy future. So that's a true mother. She's not satisfied with platitudes and theology, and she needs practical. My children are suffering because the practicalities are not satisfied. We can't just preach all day. You need to get down to the root. You need to get down to the details. And so that's why I like working locally, because when you're local, you can see the details. When you're national, I don't know what you're looking at. Maybe some numbers and things. So that's why tribal messiahship is meant to be on the ground. You should be touching the people that you're caring for. By the way, I do want to start having breakfast here with members. Dr. Young used to do that. I think that's kind of a nice idea. Now that we have a Chanshin one, I feel there's more of a reason for you to come, and we can break bread together. But yes, thank you very much.
And just to let Samsung know, half of our congregation wasn't even there yesterday. You know,
It's the
a
Lord.
lot of people were up at East Garden for that special event. I think a lot of people didn't come because they were scared away by the marathon, plus the time change. So I don't want to, just let Samsung know that normally it's not that small. Normally we have almost twice as many people. So thank you, Pastor. All right, family, let's take a few moments to share our reflections and we'll be back in 5 minutes. Welcome back, everybody. Ayako-san, would you like to share with us today?
Oh, thank you.
I guess more about, over the weekend.
Again,
You can.
yeah, I was so grateful. Honestly, in this time, one of my deepest joy was the workshops. Not workshop, gathering start right next to the Chonshima. After next day, Chonshima was built. I was so happy because during 21 days, this will be finished before, and the next day I'm gonna go to 50 years. So this was like my contribution a lot. We shouldn't say I claim mine too through Chonshima. So I learned 21 days prayer time. I learned important part is a claiming victory. That was towards the end, it became revealed to me. And what I claimed my victory in life, claim victory in my past, what level, and then it was acceptable. When I was praying, that was anything need to be corrected. God happy that to accept my claim of victory, what level, and the next level can move on, get happy. So with that, I was so grateful that Dr. Kim was there. That when I was walking, I just straight, went to him, and then after shook my hands to with a Mohan and the cases was there. But then I saw Dr. Kim. I just went to Dr. Kim. I said, and walking, Dr. Kim realized, oh, somebody standing next. And I said, Dr. Kim, as you know, Harlem have Chonshimon opened up yesterday. I said it. So he turned back to shook hands to Viva Mohan's hand. And I was very happy. That was one of the high. With that, I went there. So therefore, everything was, I felt I have victory before participate. I was not 50 years yet, to 47 years now at this. So, but I was included. And there was everything was so well thought, well organized, well done. And this was not Japanese. This was a really combination of American and Japanese as a national level. And this was truly grateful. Dr. Reverend Dunkley was there too. Reverend Jenkins came, Dr. Jenkins came, and you name it, people who are of many organizations. But there's all the Japanese there, important people, the behind the scene. It's a victory of a claiming victory with Japanese brothers and sisters pioneered, along with the European. The European was there too, and the many staff East Garden Europe. And I was so overwhelmed to see our movement, last 50 years of movement in my hand in 2 days. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Ayaka-san. Thank you. And thank you for 47 years of service. God bless you. Wow. Thank you to America. Wow. All right, family. Do we have any prayer requests today? Now that we're back to asking for prayer requests.
Pray for the team. Okay. Pray for the team that's coming to Harlem. Sorry. Pray for the team that's coming to Harlem.
Yes.
Devil USA. Please.
Oh, great.
For them because they're so energetic. They love Harlem. They always want to come back to Harlem. So thanks to everybody that loves them so much, in their heart. And every time they think about coming somewhere, they come to Harlem.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So please
When are
pray for them.
When are they coming?
Milhan, they're coming today, right? Yeah.
They're coming tonight.
Tonight. Okay.
Tonight.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Let's make them feel at home. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Reverend Sebastian?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could include Mrs. Gongshim Mayer. She's 93 years old today, American counting, 94 Korean counting. So that's her birthday today.
Oh.
Was that Max's wife?
That's Max's wife and Johnny's mother. And
okay.
she's a historical person are
Yeah,
very important for the Japanese slash Korean VOC work.
yes, yes.
Thank you. All right, family, let's begin our 7 minutes unison prayer. She Jacques, most beloved Heavenly
Morning, Heavenly
Thank you for allowing us to come together this wonderful weekend.
we can gather here.
This 10th anniversary.
Morning, light.
With reading, I'm a parent of two mothers' words, deep attention to the mother that is given to us through our two mothers' heart. Not to have father, the parent,
You have all
Lord,
these
or to
by
mother.
Milan's interpretation and reflection, so deep, so full of confluence, Father, pushing the children one before
Long life to health.
be done.
function one,
And all from New York City.
one.
For
State.
Heavenly
Days
Father,
of celebrating the work
Voice.
of Japanese
The world.
everywhere around the
Heavenly
world,
Parent,
in the United States.
and
They're right everywhere.
All these teachings.
pray Heavenly Parent and Parent
And brothers and sisters who have
that the
These
health
milestones.
foundation of the foundation. Che going to China, not a missionary, and then coming to the United States. He was going his own way, but
families
nobody can say anything about the foundation that he laid.
Devotion in Mr.
Dr. only Lutz in Durst, Father, San
Parent
Francisco Bay Area.
and
I want to thank you for the amazing brothers and sisters. One of them such an amazing
pray for them, Heavenly Parent.
by you, chosen by you, and
Pray for the
Father, we're
reunification
grateful
and
for our elders, especially to reach here.
pray
That is
Heavenly
even older
Parent
than
that you can fulfill
but you, Father, more healthy.
we can unite
Colleen Thompson is very healthy.
pray
Pray that she can have a great day today and we can visit her. And something, Father, was or something, some gift for her birthday.
to go in the shoes
Pray
of the
for Johnny
children.
also to do so. Allow me to find her well today on her
Pray Heavenly
94th
Parent and to
birthday, Father. Each of my brothers and sisters today,
You are in charge.
it's our responsibility.
pray
I pray.
Heavenly Parent and to America.
They are.
Again, Father,
Look at this.
Julie,
The
Your
family
mother still there.
that to mother wants us
me
nice, Father. Of us for our contribution to the kingdom of heaven. As Mira was saying, our testimony was about how
and their family.
was contributing. Didn't accomplish everything,
Their family.
but we have been able to, together with you, as way back said, together with you,
Pray Heavenly Parent and
actually
Parent.
manifesting your spirit. Wanted to say, Father, allow us not to feel any kind of pressure stressed out about all this stuff. Do it in a there's a dance, there's a performance, Father. Performance brothers and sisters around the world, Father.
On our knees and really seek peace. God, what are you doing?
Save America.
The heart of Jesus.
Heavenly Parent and Parent. This nation.
Nobody's gonna
Pray for America.
territory of Father. We meant real estate not important, Father. It's all
That she can fulfill
our relationships with each
To the choir anymore, but we
and
need to
also
be the whole
ordering
the
our
whole
aligning
world
in
is
the whole environment.
help Christianity.
Attract
For our Heavenly USA team and
Lord,
the
worship
churches,
service, Father.
they'll be struck.
The church of one.
give
the
you Joe
Meeting
his
Center, 43rd Street.
pray
Never
that they
met.
can fulfill
dedication.
that they
On
can
the Zoom,
I
but
felt
right
drawn
now,
to
he's gonna really ask us for consistency.
dedicating
They have people having
technicians and praying for all
really changed so much
session.
in these times
Guys
of
of
Yes,
it, this
for all our
in the
leaders.
past, we
is
neglected people.
a national,
it
I
is
don't
really
know.
blessed that
Being honest, it's
the
numbers.
Now
innocent
we're going
spiritual
to
children
Blessing and
nuclear
privilege.
that we have
As
in
the
this
insight and
separate country must lead the way of the Vatican.
yesterday we met,
Please
Father.
guide
take
This
care of
final
these
prayer had to
children.
do with the tribal
your
massage.
guidance to
Tribal
myself
work.
as I go forward,
Consciousness.
Bless them,
that
help
I
them
can
make
global work.
recover. Thank you.
And actually make
that
it
the
It's releasing
environments
blessings.
to help each other. Father, make it happen. To teach anybody who doesn't know how to behave. Help them to raise up their
It's
morals and
also
their ethics.
helping pray that
given the
And
my
U.S.
left side can
because
recover,
today,
begin to recover, begin to heal
Celebration
itself,
Jordan
that we can
yesterday and
fulfill
today.
that we
become
Brothers and
can
back
sisters
to
for
powerfully good.
leading this, for the Stevens family, for the
Be able
Benedictine
to
family,
participate in what I need to
pray
do.
Heavenly
real
Parents
world.
prayer that
Relation to
Today they
headquarters in relation to
fully established Junction Mall by
relation to
light
establishing the Changchun Mall.
brothers and
There are
pray,
many
sisters
Father,
things,
in
many
light
things that
for we in the
need
can
to
fulfill
accomplish, need to
love
do. And I
that
pray for the
all
people
you
who are
receive the blessing.
responding,
for
challenge.
UCI
Pray that
be
we can
resolved
who
support
for
are
the
also
safety
for
of
Wine and
Muslim
pray that we
and
can
this
pray for those
life
people who
and
pray
the
that we
vehicle
for
for
sure
pray that
keep on
we can
inquiring.
fulfill that
I
they
will
can
also
see
the
the
Washington Times,
Hope, and then
we
hope
can
that
see the
soon will come
America, let
in.
America be
Of this
for
whole
the
the
Belvedere.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your prayers. I feel like our prayers are even more special now that we have the Chuncheon one. Even if we're on Zoom, I feel strongly that it's the same. Even if we're not there in that room in person, but we're here in the room on Zoom, so it's the same benefits, in my opinion. So, do we have any announcements?
In all areas of your life. In addition, we will pray stop.
Just I know you respect your opinion. We're typing in the chat here. Chuncheon Without Borders. Even your father, he launched the Rallies of Hope. Remember that? The Rallies
Yes.
of Hope. We were online and like two-way live stream, and that's what this is. This is a two-way live stream right here. You have your faces on the screen up. We have on the TV over here, and we're interacting back and forth. It's when we think of the kingdom of heaven on earth,
One
I
giant
think Zoom. Where I feel like we're already in spirit world. We're communicating beyond the physical dimensions. Sometimes when I get into breakout rooms, I'm imagining, people who've died just showing up on the Zoom screen. And I feel like they're here and they're communicating through us, with us. So make no mistake, we are the merit of the age is showing us the world's coming one. We embrace this technology. We embrace it.
Thank you. Pastor Mellon, can I ask you a little thing? Can you please explain a little bit about the little HJ1 house? Because I didn't have any idea what it was or what it meant or anything, but yesterday Reverend Edner said to me it was for our ancestors, a little home for. But could you elaborate a little bit on that for those of us or anybody else who might not know what it means?
Yeah, well, in 2009, there's a special providence. Here's how I interpret it, okay? I mean, you can look at it, okay, as a Chuncheon comes out with these little houses you can put on your altar, and it represents a home or a place, a gathering place for your ancestors to gather. And that in spirit world, there's a house that looks exactly like that. It's probably more colorful, right? But it's a house that looks just like that, and they're inside there, gathering, schmoozing like at a social event. Okay, so that's what that house represents, is this spiritual condition Mother made so that our ancestors can gather. So if you have these houses in your altar, a beautiful meeting place to come. Mother she's sensitive to these kind of details, and we can talk about it vaguely that my ancestors are with me and they're helping me. Or you can be like an offering table, offering fruits, offering things that you're really acknowledging their presence. So that's what the Hyojung One house does. It acknowledges your ancestors' presence. I'll tell you what, when we got ours, it was interesting because Saika protested at first. She's like, why does it cost $3,000? And I'm like, it made me pray. I had to pray to God. I really had to ask God, how do I sell this idea? And so it forced me to love Saika more. And eventually she came up with a good reason. She said, in Japan and her family members, they have their own, these ancestral, a lot of Buddhists, they have these kind of, you have your ancestors, like a not a house, but some kind of display. Oh. And they have the incense there, and they always kind of communicate with their ancestors like that. And she says, it's nice to have something like that. So Saika, she sees this Hyojung One house as like, again, it's a physical display of our reverence and acknowledgement of our ancestors' presence in our lives. So that was beyond me. I mean, I'm like, okay, that's cool. If that's what floats your boat, then let's do it. I'm satisfied with this spiritual ambiguity, but she likes that physical house. So I don't know if that helps, but I'm telling you, your ancestors are close. They want to work with you, but we often forget, and they're kind of just left with nothing to do. And also, I have a number, 147. Whenever 147 appears in my life, it is my ancestors poking me, saying, we're still with you. We're still with you. And the crazy thing is that this house number is 147 West 120th Street, which just blew my mind that my ancestors are literally waiting for me in this house. So you got to understand, your ancestors really want to work with you, but if you don't acknowledge them, you don't take them seriously, then their hands are. So that's the Hyojung One. Hyojung house.
Thank you so much. That's a beautiful explanation. Thank you. I hope everybody appreciates that. Thank you very much. All right, my brothers and sisters, hope you have a wonderful day. I'm so happy that you're all here. God bless you.
Man.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a blessed day.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.